This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for May 29, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, slight reprieve for St. James killer. Lloyd Forrester, the man who was convicted for murdering St. James mechanic Valentine Stevens and injuring his daughter during a 2005 home invasion, is now to serve 24 years instead of 25 before he can apply for parole, following an appeal against his sentence on grounds that the 14-year-old pretrial delay was a breach of his constitutional rights. Forrester was found guilty of murder contrary to common law and wounding with intent in 2019 and sentenced to life imprisonment without eligibility for parole before serving 25 years for that murder and 25 years imprisonment for the wounding. The sentences were set to run concurrently. Forrester was arrested and taken into custody for the offense on March 10, 2005. He was tried and convicted in June 2019 and sentenced on December 10, 2019. According to evidence led during the trial, in March of 2005, Forrester and another man invaded the home of Stevens in Rose Heights, St. James, where Forrester was armed with a gun on the instructions of the other man, shot at Stevens multiple times. Stevens, according to the evidence, had just finished assisting his two children with their homework when he was fatally shot. His daughter was injured by one of the bullets. Forrester was apprehended by the police as he attempted to flee the scene in a motor vehicle. A firearm was found by the police on the seat. Scientific evidence confirmed that the firearm seized was the one used to carry out the shootings. Forrester, in appealing his sentence, argued, among other things, that the trial judge failed to consider the delay before the case was heard and determined, and that the judge should have dismissed the case on the principle of delay and should have given credit for the breach of his constitutional right to a fair hearing within a reasonable time. He further argued that the judge erred when he stipulated a period of 25 years before parole for murder, and that the judge failed to appreciate the proportionality in sentencing for different offenses in sentencing him to 25 years for murder and 25 years for wounding with intent. He further argued that the judge erred when he stipulated a period of 25 years before parole for murder, and that the judge failed to appreciate the proportionality in sentencing for different offenses in sentencing him to 25 years for murder and 25 years for wounding with intent. The appeal court, in its response to Forrester's submissions on delay, said the learned trial judge would have no basis in the circumstances to dismiss the case against the appellant solely on the basis of delay. Furthermore, the court said the issue of delay or breach of the appellant's constitutional rights was never raised before the learned trial judge at the trial in June 2019. In assessing the delay arguments further, the appeal judges noted that on the first trial date, Forrester refused to plea. It said the second trial was aborted during the summation stage as one of the jurors had to be discharged after her brother was gunned down the night before. On the third trial date, Forrester was seen signaling a member of the jury after empaneling was completed. The fourth and the final trial date was in June 2019, 9 years after the third failed attempt. The appeal court said while the delay of 9 years could be considered egregious based on the history and the circumstances, it did not accept that the case should have been dismissed without a trial proceeding. The judges, however, said while they did not consider that the post-conviction delay excessive, bearing in mind the exigencies of the court's list, the seeming delay of 14 years and 3 months prior to trial is alarming. The appeal court, in assessing the reasons for the delay, said it had concluded that the state would be responsible for 9 years and 2 months of delay, noting a delay for such a lengthy period is egregious. The judges, in the meantime, said in the final analysis, although they had to engage in the resentencing process for the offense of murder, they did not find that the sentence of life imprisonment with 25 years before eligibility for parole could be said to be manifestly excessive. In relation to the offense of wounding with intent, however, the appeal court judges noted that the normal sentencing range is between 15 and 20 years, with 15 years being at the low end and the 20 years being at the high end. The circumstances of this case do not justify a starting point above the usual range, as it would have been used by the learned trial judge, said the appeal court judges. They said they would use the statutory minimum of 15 years as its starting point, and taking account of the aggravating and mitigating factors, together with a consideration of the time already spent in custody, reduce Forrester's sentence for that offense to the statutory minimum of 15 years. The appeal court, in the ruling handed down last Friday in the meantime, said it had found that the learned trial judge erred in regard to sentencing by his failure to demonstrate how he arrived at the penalty imposed for murder. It said the trial judge also erred in regard to the sentence imposed on the appellant with respect to wounding with intent, and said Forrester's right to trial within a reasonable time, as guaranteed under Section 16(1) of the Constitution, was breached as a result of the lengthy period that it took for him to be tried for the offenses of murder and wounding with intent. The court, in affirming the life sentence imposed, set aside the stipulation that the appellant is to serve 25 years imprisonment before becoming eligible for parole, and substituted it with the stipulation that he serve 24 years before becoming eligible for parole, given the breach of his right to be tried within a reasonable time. New Education State Minister assigned the Child Protection Sector. Newly appointed State Minister in the Ministry of Education and Youth, Marsha Smith, has been assigned to take charge of the Child Protection Sector. As you know, her background is a lawyer, and we have a lot of different pieces of legislation that we really need to get passed in Parliament, such as the amended Child Protection Act. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams told the news on the sideline of an Ananda Alert Youth Forum in New Kingston last Thursday. She brings her legal background, and that is very needed to help to guide the process there, and I am looking forward to working with her. I know she is coming from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, where she would have been involved in labor relations issues there as well. She brings that as a skill that we look forward to, Williams added. The Education Ministry has oversight responsibility for the island's leading protection agency for children, the Child Protection and the Family Services Agency, which operates 8 child care units and more than 40 private homes. It also assists the parents and the caregivers of children through different training workshops. In bringing greetings to the forum, Williams expressed the profound sadness at the abuse of children, especially by closer relatives. Adults are not always honest. They are not always persons you can trust, unfortunately. And so, as young people, we have to have that discerning measure about you as to who you can trust and who you cannot trust. This is something that you have to develop, because even as adults, we have to have that in us as well. It is a sad reality that we have had to establish to fully give credence to the fact that far too many children going missing annually. Despite your parents or caregivers and the state's best efforts at the child protection, the issue of continued abuse and the neglect of children is painful to acknowledge. What is very, very sad is that the abuse comes from the adults in the home, the adults who are known to the children, who are related to the children. They are the ones abusing the children, said Williams. She told the forum that she wants all children in Jamaica to feel safe and secure and have a sense of belonging. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.